Welcome back to The Deep Dive. Today, we're taking on one of the most exciting and, let's be honest, most anxiety-inducing topics in business right now, how the rise of intelligent machines is completely reshaping the world of sales. You came to us because you want the definitive shortcut, a fast, thorough way to understand how your organization doesn't just survive, but actually succeeds in this new AI era. Especially when success is all about relationship-centric selling and, strategic account management. So we spent time with a powerful stack of research here. And while it emphatically confirms that human relationship strategies are more crucial than ever, it also eliminates one massive foundational hurdle, a hurdle between current performance and future success. And it's not a technical one.
That is the absolute key to our mission today. We have to unpack that single greatest impediment. The data all confirms AI's power to transform the sales engine. It can automate, predict, optimize like never before.
Right.
But the research is unanimous on this. The biggest barrier isn't the complexity of the algorithm, it's the complexity of human behavior. It's all about change management.
I find that fascinating. We always talk about disruptive technology, but it seems the true disruption is, it's organizational. The AI is ready, it's powerful, it's exciting, but orchestrating its successful adoption requires what the sources call a truly Herculean effort. So let's get tactical. What exactly is effective change management in the context of AI, and what are the stakes if you get this foundational step wrong?
At its core, change management, or CM, it's the structured approach to successfully guiding an organization and its employees to a new goal. And why does it matter so acutely right now? Because we're asking people to fundamentally alter how they interact with their most important assets, their relationships, their data, their pipeline. People, you have to remember, are the business's most valuable assets. CM exists to manage that inevitable anxiety and resistance that comes with such a big shift.
And that shift isn't coming, it's here. I think that's part of the urgency that gets missed. The research notes that AI tools are already filtering down to sellers, sometimes without permission, outside of IT oversight.
Shadow IT.
Exactly. The clock is ticking on getting governance right.
Precisely. If organizations delay, if they skip effective change management, the outcome isn't just stagnation, it's decline. We're talking about that bleak world where the competition gets ahead, and gets ahead quickly, because they did execute a successful adoption. But the risks go much deeper than just lagging behind.
You highlight the talent risk, which is just, it's massive.
It is. If your employees feel frustrated or scared or unsupported by unmanaged change, they leave. We're on the precipice of a pretty significant talent shortage in many highly skilled areas of sales. So losing experienced, valuable professionals simply because the organization failed to provide a clear, supportive path forward with AI. Well, that's an organizational disaster. These are the people with the relationships and the nuanced knowledge that AI just can't replicate.
And financially, it becomes a gigantic liability. We've seen these massive bets being made on AI tools that might be free or cheap now during a pilot phase.
Oh, but the enterprise licenses are coming.
And they will be expensive. So if adoption fails, if sellers aren't actually using the predictive models or the generative tools effectively, that money is just gone. You're left with skyrocketing costs and zero return.
That's the definition of a failed enterprise initiative right there. But let's step back to the opportunity for a second, because AI is not an existential threat. It's an accelerator. It's an opportunity for a seller to manage, say, 3 times the accounts with better efficiency and much deeper insights. But to get there, we have to acknowledge this difficult journey.
And the difficulty, as you noted, isn't just logistical, it's profoundly psychological. Why is this transition to AI empowerment so uniquely challenging compared to, rolling out a new CRM system 5 years ago?
That's a great question. A CRM system is mostly a system of record. It documents the process. AI is a system of intelligence, a system of recommendation. It challenges the core identity of a senior seller. Everyone, from the most junior to the most senior director, has these entrenched belief systems, established relationships, and proven ways of working. For a seasoned professional, adjusting means trusting the machine over, say, 20 years of their own gut instinct. Think about it. If the AI recommends prioritizing account A over account B, but account B is the relationship that put their kids through college, that recommendation represents both an opportunity if the AI is right and an immediate, tangible risk of lost deals and lost earnings if the AI is wrong.
Right.
That inherent tension, that fear of losing control or losing income, is what drives fierce resistance and is what mandates excellent change management.
That fear is extremely potent. So let's move beyond the strategic risk now to the tangible human costs of getting this wrong. This is where it gets really interesting because the effects just cascade through the organization.
Okay, starting at the individual level, failure first shows up as demotivation and resistance. Salespeople are competitive, they're success-oriented. If they have an approach that works, they're going to hesitate to change it unless the benefits are immediately and clearly proven.
Of course.
If change is forced on them without that buy-in, they check out. And this immediately creates a massive skills gap. Leveraging AI isn't just about clicking a new button. It requires new cognitive skills.
Like what?
Like critical thinking about the data the AI presents, prompt engineering for generative tools, learning to synthesize human insight with machine output. If you don't provide adequate ongoing training, reps struggle. Their performance declines. And that leads directly to lower sales figures and this whole spiral of frustration.
And we often talk about AI reducing workload, but in the short term, without good management, it can actually amplify stress. You can just imagine a seller dealing with 5 different unintegrated AI tools, one for outreach, one for forecasting, one for proposals.
And they're all giving conflicting answers about what the customer needs or the probability of closing a deal.
Exactly.
That's the definition of pressure. Grappling with all these disparate, conflicting technologies leads directly to increased stress and burnout. In a high-pressure sales environment, that's the quickest way to push your most experienced people right out the door.
So then you scale that up to the team level. Now you have a lack of consistent coaching, no oversight, and that creates highly uneven AI adoption. You end up with these little pockets of excellence surrounded by large pockets of resistance.
And that creates performance gaps that actively hinder team selling and collaboration, which is becoming more and more vital for complex deals.
Right.
And you also see communication breakdowns, internal conflict. Imagine a sales manager relying on an AI forecasting tool that the reps just don't trust. That lack of faith in the data leads to distrust in the management decisions that are based on that data.
And if you have conflicting messages from different AIs, say the marketing AI says one thing about a customer, but the sales AI says another,
you get massive internal friction. It just kills morale.
And then, of course, the damage accrues dramatically at the organizational level. Missed sales targets, revenue loss, those are the obvious ones. But maybe more insidious is the impact on the customer experience.
That's right.
Yeah.
Customer dissatisfaction is a huge risk. If sellers are relying too heavily on generative AI for customer communication without proper oversight, they can miss nuanced cues.
Or send generic pitches.
Or worse, make factual errors. Using AI incorrectly leads to customer blind spots, which is the exact opposite of that strategic advisor role we want them to fill.
And ultimately, the company's reputation suffers. If sales teams are just left to use just any tool they find online, with no security oversight, no standards, the internal turmoil and poor customer experience will damage your standing in the market.
And we can't forget the invisible killer here, change fatigue. When teams are just bombarded with continuous, unmanaged, poorly communicated changes, new tools, new metrics, new processes, all at once, they become overwhelmed. Eventually, they become resistant to any future initiative, no matter how helpful it might actually be. It's like organizational scar tissue. It wastes resources and it closes the door on future innovation.
It creates that vicious cycle you described. Okay, so if that's the painful reality of failure, where do we start fixing the problem? We need a clear foundation for success.
Absolutely. The materials we looked at outline 4 crucial requirements for lasting AI change. And if you fail to deliver on any one of these, you're guaranteed to veer off course.
All right, let's go through them.
First is simplicity. That change cannot add unnecessary cognitive load. Sellers are busy, they're closing deals. If the new AI-driven process requires 5 extra steps or a ton of interpretation, they will just revert to the old, faster way. The tech has to be intuitive and show its value immediately.
That makes sense. What's second?
Second is belief and trust from sellers. This is not optional. Sales leaders have to proactively demonstrate the ROI of the new approach and be totally transparent about how data is being used. If sellers feel the AI is some kind of black box, or worse, a surveillance tool,
they'll sabotage it.
Exactly. They'll find a way around it.
The third and fourth.
Third is effective and recurring enablement and training. And I mean ongoing, not a single webinar. The AI landscape changes every single month. Training has to keep pace and be centered on real-world scenarios. And fourth, you need tools and methods that meet the needs of the full team. One-size-fits-all AI solutions. They rarely work in complex sales. The tools have to integrate seamlessly and provide genuine utility across different roles, from the account manager to the solution engineer.
That seems like a solid blueprint. So let's talk implementation strategy. The sources were very clear on this. Start slowly. You have to resist that temptation to boil the entire ocean by trying to automate everything on day one.
That temptation is the death knell of large-scale adoption. It really is. Instead, leaders have to choose one specific, high-paying, low-risk area for automation.
For example,
Maybe automating the first draft of account research, or competitive analysis for strategic accounts. Test it, measure it, refine the process based on seller feedback, and then proceed from that single proven win.
the sheer magnitude of this technological shift requires managerial patience.
It does.
Yeah.
And to manage that magnitude and ensure you have standards, you absolutely need structure. That means establishing company oversight modeled from the top down.
So what's the recommended mechanism for that?
The creation of a formalized cross-functional advisory committee or group. This group is responsible for monitoring, governing, and standardizing how AI is used, procured, and communicated across the whole organization. It's the central nervous system for AI adoption.
Okay, so who should be on this committee, and what are the concrete advantages of having that unified oversight?
Membership should include people from IT, legal and compliance, finance, and key sales leadership. The advantages are critical. First, you get dramatically reduced risk for vital data security by vetting tools and usage policies. Second, a much better understanding of how AI is already being used, which helps eliminate shadow IT. And third, a unified stance on marketing and selling your own AI-enabled capabilities to clients.
And the cost control aspect must be huge.
Oh, absolutely. The finance representation ensures cost control. This committee is responsible for procurement. If every department buys its own separate licenses for every generative tool in the market, costs just spiral out of control. This committee controls the budget and mandates shared, standardized platforms where it makes sense.
So once that oversight is in place, sales leaders have to move to engaging sellers at every step. You need to foster a safe space for collaboration and trust, which can be hard in an environment that often rewards the lone wolf. What does that safe space look like in practice?
It means proactively addressing their concerns and creating ways for them to give open feedback. For example, hosting regular AI lunch and learns, where reps can anonymously submit questions about job security or how the AI is interpreting their data. It involves asking the truly crucial questions, not just about software usage, but the emotional ones.
Such as?
How engaged are they, really? Do they feel like they're contributing to the strategy? How are they using AI today, and what tasks do they think AI should be taking over? And the most critical question, how do sellers feel about AI's impact on their career and their job security? Leaders have to address that emotional component directly to help sellers feel secure enough to trust the tech. Ignoring that anxiety guarantees failure.
That emotional security is paramount, and once they're bought in, the training needs to be effective and ongoing. It has to emphasize that this is a skill development opportunity, not just a technical fix.
Exactly. Training can't be a one-time thing. The AI landscape demands constant, reinforced, ongoing education. And beyond that, organizations have to focus on immersion to really make the change stick. This means introducing new rewards and incentives centered on the successful adoption and use of AI tools. You have to reward the right behavior in the new system.
And collaboration.
And absolutely, we have to reiterate the need for team collaboration. The research is crystal clear on this. In our increasingly complex world, the lone wolf seller is going to be far less effective than a cohesive team. Success has to be shared, and so does accountability for AI adoption.
That brings us to the core synthesis, the high-level perspective. We're living in these interesting times where massive technological prowess and timeless human connection are converging. So if we pull all these insights together, what does this all mean for the future of relationship-centric selling?
It means the future belongs only to the seamless integration of machine and human. The goal isn't substitution. The goal is profound strategic amplification.
And the roles are becoming crystal clear. The sources explain AI's role beautifully. AI provides the analytical might. It's the data points, the predictive models, the automation of tedious tasks. It illuminates the what we should do and the when we should do it.
But machines cannot chart the course. That is the enduring role of the human. AI lacks the empathy to build genuine trust. It lacks the creativity to co-create bespoke solutions for complex clients, or the wisdom to navigate the delicate politics within a large corporation.
So the human provides the why and navigates the how. Human intuition, honed through experience and genuine care for the client's success. That's what's required to translate all that machine-generated data into a shared strategic journey, which means strategic account planning and relationship building. They don't just persist in this new era, they ascend in significance.
The crucial takeaway is this. The time reclaimed by AI, that massive boost in efficiency, is not an invitation for the seller to retreat from human connection. It's a mandate to deepen it. It allows sales professionals to transcend all that transactional data gathering and become truly indispensable strategic advisors. They can focus solely on the high-value, relationship-critical parts of the sale.
It's a powerful conclusion. Intelligence may be artificial, but the strategic relationships and the success they foster remain profoundly human. So today, we moved from defining change management as the biggest hurdle through the severe costs of failure, and we landed on the essential steps for successful AI integration, starting slow, creating oversight, and engaging sellers emotionally.
And here's a final provocative thought for you to carry forward from all this. If success depends entirely on integrating AI effectively into your sales process, how can you measure that success beyond just the final revenue number? One key suggestion from the research is to measure the adoption and proficiency of AI tools across your sales organization. But maybe more impactful is a side-by-side comparison. Measure revenue growth from buying interactions managed with the new AI processes versus those managed without them.
That side-by-side comparison reveals the true competitive impact of getting change management right. Dig into those numbers and see what your next strategic step should be. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. We'll be back soon with more insights gleaned directly from the cutting edge of industry research.